Natural conditioning techniques. Most of my experience with conditioning new habits has been using what I will refer to from now on as natural conditioning techniques. Like their name implies, natural conditioning techniques condition the habit in the exact same way the habit would naturally be run. These techniques tend to be longer and require more patience, but they are also a lot easier to pull off. My favorite natural conditioning technique is the 30-day trial, which was introduced to me from Steve Pavlina. Although I know that his method has been adapted from many other similar 21-day programs, I've found it to be incredibly effective. The essence of this trial is that you intend to focus on the habit only for 30 days. Because the conditioning phase is usually a lot shorter than it first appears, this technique gets you to focus your efforts really hard for the first burst so you can reach orbit quickly. I've been told that the minimum amount of time needed to condition a habit is actually only 21 days, but I like 30. The extra 9 days may be a little overkill, but I've always found that going a little overkill is always better than underestimating the requirements of a habit change. Furthermore, 30 days fits nicely into 1-month increments, so you can start and end on the same day of the month. To conduct a 30-day trial, simply set a goal to live your habit for the next 30 days. The habit has to be run through a minimum of once per day. I made the mistake of trying to modify the strategy for a 4-week 28 days trial for something that repeated once or twice a week. This method simply did not condition the habit enough, and I didn't feel any further along than when I started. The idea here is the number of continuous repetitions, not just the time frame. Another important rule for the trial is that you must restart it whenever any exception is made. I put emphasis on any for a reason. Even if your exception was justified, a break in your repetitions will still damage the conditioning process. If you have to quit the trial because of a legitimate and temporary reason, that is still better than pretending you completed the trial when you should have restarted. Depending on the habit, this is how almost all of my 30-day trials go. The first few days are usually a difficult adjustment, but you are working on the willpower you've built up from your resolution to go through with the trial. After this initial kickback period, things start to get a bit easier and you may start forgetting to apply conscious focus on your habit. Then it happens. Usually after about 2 to 3 weeks into the trial, something will come up that will really test you. This has happened in virtually all of my habit trials, and they were the reason I failed when I was just starting with this technique. Often these obstacles are completely unforeseen, and they may even make quitting seem rational. Getting sick when you are in the middle of an exercise trial. Being stuck in a hotel room without anything to do, except the television sitting there that you've sworn off for a month. Starting a new diet when you are called out to a birthday at a restaurant. These moments are the ones that make you want to cringe. Often you didn't intend for your habit to impact these areas, but you know you need to move forward. This is why I really like the 30-day trial. A little bit of pain is far easier to rationalize if you are aware that you only have to hold on for a few more days. Standard New Year's resolutions make the habit seem indefinite, which makes it so easy to quit whenever there is a problem. The real beauty of conditioning is that after you've made it through one of these moments, everything becomes a lot easier. You are also satisfied with your ability to persevere. Once you hit the 30-day mark, you might even wonder what was so difficult about the challenge at all. Now that it is a part of your life, it no longer takes any extended effort or willpower to sustain. If you continued that habit for 100 days, likely it would be harder not to follow it than to revert backwards. If you are new to making habit changes, the 30-day trial is probably the best technique to start with. Try starting with an easier, but still challenging habit change. Don't try overhauling your entire life in the first go. Select a habit that could definitely be improved but is also something you think you can do. As I said earlier, creating habitual changes is a skill which needs practice.